people who just talk about blockchain are talking about something very interesting, but it's a piece of enterprise technology that's an advanced database. And a private blockchain unconnected to the global, to the Bitcoin or another digital currency blockchain is the equivalent of the intranet. Mm-hmm. Remember we had intranets to begin with, where it was really cool. You could do internal communication with people in your own companies, you know, but it wasn't really until those intranets were connected via the internet protocol to other intranets to create the World Wide Web of intranets called the internet that the world changed. The world is going to change in finance when we connect the private blockchains via the Bitcoin or Ethereum or other protocol to the other blockchains in the world. Have a global blockchain that's the World Wide Web of blockchains that'll fundamentally change the way in which not only do we move value around the world at the speed of light, but also in which we actually fundamentally change the way in which we compute, because it's the fourth computing paradigm I've experienced in my lifetime, the decentralized computing paradigm. That is the vision of where we can really go with this. That's transformational. Now, the first step will be the intranets, the blockchains, as those get deployed. But that's not the end point. That's just a first step.
When we talk about central banking, central bank digital currencies, would it not make sense just to have one worldwide? I know it's a bit of a weird question, but what do you think?
No, I mean, I think that each central bank, each country should have its own sovereign currency. What is important, and I think a lot of the work that we are doing, is given that pretty much all central banks are thinking about this, it's a unique opportunity for the different central banks' digital currencies to be interoperable.
And we also had economies of scope, in the sense that if I have already a big network, say I am providing messaging services, I can just write 2 or 3 lines of code and convert that messenger into a payment system.
Our problem was, why shouldn't enterprise start today? Why shouldn't they start in 8 minutes? Why shouldn't they have blockchain-enabled applications with 3 lines of code?
That their systems are congruent between each other, and therefore that transactions in different currencies can be done in a seamless way. As a matter of fact, today we published a report, the CPMI IOSCO report on CBDC and international payments. And there the idea is precisely what is the design features that CBDCs should have, so that you can make 24/7 instant payments between countries with very low commissions. I mean, today, payment from, let's say, Mexico to the US can take days, and sometimes the commissions you pay is 7%. That's ridiculous. So what I think we need to do is to take advantage of the fact that pretty much everybody is starting from a clean slate, so that we can incorporate from the origin the interconnectedness between the different systems.
For us, it's a privilege to be able to work with this technology and lay that infrastructure where this technology will live on. It's quite transformational to lay the tracks for the future of money and the future of transactions. So what we've been doing is making sure that these currencies that the governments will issue and these central banks will supervise are interoperable. That's core to our technology. They work across borders in a frictionless way. You don't have to be limited to your country and your jurisdiction. You can spend that money anywhere globally. And what we're looking to do is make that a reality within regions and connect the regions to each other, so we can actually be the bridge between different jurisdictions.
We've solved interoperability at scale, and the background to money is a 20-year career in cybersecurity. I ran the payment infrastructure as the Chief Security Officer for the Bank of England, so keeping all the money safe across all the payment systems and the payment rails. And now we're also company guarantors to Pay UK, putting the strategy in place for future payments, including central bank money as well, but creating an ecosystem around what's the potential of money and what we can do with it. And that's my interest. We're shaping the system.
Another billionaire? How did he make his money? Paraffin, castor oil, whalebone corsets for the woman who dares?
Actually, cryptocurrency.
Oh, I know about cryptocurrency. I have it in my crypt.
No, sir. This is a new kind of digital currency based on blockchain.
We came to the US to actually just explain the potential of the technology and what we're seeing globally. And I work across 3 governments, so in the Federal Reserve, in the European Commission, and in the UK government. And there's a common trend where people are excited about this technology. They want to do something about it. We describe our work at Quant as laying the foundations with Overledger to build the Internet of Trust. We are honoring the original vision of the Internet by decentralizing it. While the potential for this technology is tremendous, to be clear, it's not a panacea. It's not going to cure cancer by itself, but it is a critical part of shaping the systems at will.
Oh, I know all about blockchain. Again, not what you're thinking.
This new currency has made Professor Frank the richest man in Springfield.
Satoshi figured out a way to attach value to it. If you could have attached value to TCP/IP when it was first created, and you could have bought the packets with hope that someday they would invent, I don't know, Instagram. It was quite a long ways between the invention of TCP/IP and the creation of all the things that the internet could do and the packetized networks could do. I think you see the same thing with the technology of blockchain.
So what we did was take a different approach. So what we've said with Overledger is, let's not change blockchains. Let's let them develop. And there's 500, 5,000. The technology needs to develop and needs to mature. What we're doing is really the only technology that can sit on top and give you that interoperability at a very low protocol level. So think of it as TCP/IP of blockchain. And that's what we've worked on, and that's what we've developed, and that's what's Overledger. And the work from Overledger also led to founding the TC307 ISO standard. I wanted to have some regulation in this space because everything is being developed in silos. So the ISO standard that is being worked on, there's 45 countries now working together to standardize how blockchain should operate. That's quite powerful. I mean, try getting 45 countries in a room. The next meeting is in London, so that's going to be in May. So how are we achieving this vision? So we're creating interoperability at that low level, as I said, similar to the way TCP/IP works. We're connecting any blockchain together in a very unique way, that is one blockchain to any blockchain, without connectors, without any overhead, without any more risk. So we're doing it at internet scale. And we're also allowing people to connect blockchain networks and the whole blockchain world to existing networks.
Introduction of a central bank digital currency will give a big boost to digital economy. Digital currency will also lead to a more efficient and cheaper currency management system. It is therefore proposed to introduce digital rupee using blockchain and other technologies to be issued by the Reserve Bank of India starting 2022 and 23.
One of the biggest things that we're doing is we're actually creating the Latin American dollar, and that's quite exciting. So this is with the Inter-American Development Bank over in Washington. They've created a LAC-chain consortium, which is the Latin America chain, and they asked us to participate and bring our technology to Latin America. And what that does is it allows us to interconnect the region. So all the countries that we're working with, initially 12 countries, will be using the Overledger technology to create an interbank network between all the different countries and the regions, and then create remittance and payment corridors between the US and Latin America. And so what this means is businesses and citizens and people on the ground will be using the Latin American dollar to trade and create commerce, which is a lot more efficient, it's a lot more simple and quicker than what they have today. And we're proud of what we can do and really, enable change and make people's lives better over in Latin America.
The overledger network is going live. We'll be having anyone hosting gateways to run their own gateway on their own servers and their infrastructure. That means they will pay for licenses in QNT, and all the transactions can be billed using QNT across the network. And so our job is to create this open ecosystem where anyone can be a participant, where Duke is in the background bringing enterprise and institutional use cases to the network. We have lots and lots of meetings every week with governments, with enterprise, with institutions, with clients who want to build new technology and new what we call MDAPs, so multi DLT, distributed applications on top of the network. So the QNT token is at the core of everything that we're doing. And what happens is if you own gateways and you run this on the network, when you process transactions, you get paid in QNT. It's a great ecosystem that we're building, and this will evolve. We want to make it the currency and the payment option for all the data and the transactions that are being put on the network, so people can actually trade in QNT, and it can be used for hundreds and hundreds of use cases around, AI, data. If you want to do an MDAP on payments, if you want to do an MDAP as an exchange, if you want to do anything, compute, if you want to create like an AWS equivalent on the overledger network, all of this is possible. So QNT has just become that, pure utility token that can be used for everything.
Said you'd be rich by now. Well, we hoped we would be. And if we'd have picked the right fucking horse, we wouldn't have sold the QNT.
Sorry.
Motherfucker.
People understand how revolutionary blockchain is, but it's not this sort of libertarian anarchist thing where you have no connection to the real world. To have it be a payment system, it's got to be interoperable with banks and the payment system, right? If I withdraw money from a stablecoin issuer, they have to send it somewhere. And right now they're going to wire it to my bank account, and it's going to take like 3 days. So the interoperability of these issuers and the rest of the system has to happen somehow.
Corda is the world's only blockchain platform, available as open source and enterprise, built specifically for business, that offers privacy, scalability, and interoperability. Scalability and interoperability.
All of us contribute to the creation of the internet of value, but we need to avoid to contribute by adopting an old mindset that comes from the old capitalist model. We need to avoid to make private profit and to extract revenue from the system. We need to think of the internet of value as a public good, and if this public good is healthy and grow, all of us will benefit.
Man in town again, I've assembled a team of the greatest mathematicians and cryptographers to ever leave their rooms. They're here to...
Magna cum losers, you're here for one reason and one reason only. To create a pseudo-currency like the Bitcoin or the peso that will make me rich.
The best enterprise blockchain team in the world to do this, and this is a mammoth task. I mean, it's not easy to build technology, but we've done it before and at bigger scale as well. So we have the experience to do this, and we're quite excited. So where we're heading, we really like to show this. For the first time, we're able to honor the original vision of the internet with blockchain technology, and that's what we're building. We're building. We're really building the tech to create the internet of trust, and if you look at what is happening, you can actually trust the network for the first time without the need to know and trust each other. And that's the beauty of what blockchain can do using the technology that powers it. And that's what we're excited about. And if you look at what's happening in terms of the network, we're evolving. So the network we have today is what, if you look at this report, it was in 1964. It's kind of a peer-to-peer starfish network. It's evolved from the telecom network, and from there it's become the internet, and from there where we're heading now is where at the internet of trust, and this is a distributed ledger network, which is the evolution of the internet, and this is what we're in the middle of building. I mean, our technology is shaping the next evolution and generation of the internet, and that's what's really exciting for us. And in terms of the vision, what we're doing is replacing the centralized web. And if you think about it, it's becoming obsolete. The value that was created with the centralized web is around the application layer. The protocol was quite small and not that much focused on, but now it's the other way around.
The potential of what we're doing, I mean, we have the guys from, the managing director of Rockefeller on our board, and there's other people at that level that are going to join as well. And so we're taking this, as a long-term thing, and we're taking this at a global thing as well.
So the internet of today is a result of that connecting of closed networks, and that happened not that long ago. I mean, early 2000s was really when it really took off, late 90s, 2000s. And that's what we seen, and that was the cause to create the Googles and the Amazons and the Facebooks and all the internet companies, because of this thing, because they connected and it was open. So the question I ask is, why should you be limited to one blockchain? Why should you be stuck and limited to one single technology when there's different benefits and different blockchains that you can benefit from? So what we're saying is, why not benefit from all blockchains? And so what we've done with overledger, it's an operating system that sits on top of existing first generation blockchains, second generation blockchains, nth generation blockchains, and interoperability blockchains, and it allows you to connect seamlessly without giving you any extra overhead, without giving you any extra consensus or cost, because it's facilitating that data transfer between networks. We're connecting and bridging networks and allowing you to do something quite unique, to create new multi-chain applications, not distributed applications, multi-chain applications. So if you think about it a bit more, we're kind of like what Microsoft did. If Microsoft in the 90s made Windows to be internet-based and put Windows OS on top of the internet to create internet apps, that's what we're doing today. So we've got our operating system on top of existing blockchains and future blockchains to create internet-based multi-chain apps where you can actually benefit from the different types of blockchain.
We're transacting everything through overledger, so we can see anomalies, because everything comes through overledger, and we have that cybersecurity background to spot anomalies. And then separately, the token is 18 decimal points, right? So there's a lot. It's not just 14.4 million. There's 18 decimal points behind it.
So there's a long way to go to scope in the value of this, and it to be really global in that context.
Yeah, Ben. I don't know. In 10 years' time, we may be hitting limits. I don't know. I can't speculate, but
no, you can't.
We've thought of
that. There's the flexibility built into the system.
Yeah, we've thought of the controls and the mechanisms.
Revolution is actually a revolution of accounting. And just as we saw in the 1400s with the advent of double entry accounting, we're going to see through DLT, through blockchain, a sort of triple entry accounting based revolution. And in turn, a revolution of how humans interact with each other and organize themselves to pursue goals. These are necessary steps towards becoming what humanity ultimately needs to in order to realize their full potential. And I think Quant is one of these foundational, international critical infrastructure players that will exist beyond the hype cycles.